We here at Bobchat like to think we help shape our nation's youth, but unless you want your children to grow up like us, we suggest only listening with other inebriated adults.
Listen, I've been drinking, okay?
Bob!
Bob! Bob!
Bob!
Bobby!
Bob!
It's Bobchat Baby.
And we're just sitting here cranking a few beers, hacking a couple darts, and shooting the shit, you know?
You really want a safe place to go? Go to Taco Bell. There's no judgment there. You want to eat 5,000 calories? Do it. Take a nap afterward, right in the booth. One time, I saw a lady come in and dump every single hot sauce packet into her purse. No one said a goddamn thing. And that, Griffin, that's how you live Moss. Okay, welcome welcome to Pop Chat. Yeah, Taco Bell, love it. It's me, your host, Bino Barbarino, and I'm here with Griffin.
Howdy.
Are you living Moss or what?
Moss?
Live Moss, that's what they say at Taco Bell. Is there a trademark on that?
On the topic of Taco Bells, have you noticed that they're redoing all the restaurants?
Are they?
They're finally updating them.
Like, they updated them since, like, the 90s, where it was, like, the...
One of those 90s solo cups. That was their color scheme.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, they're redoing Taco Bell.
Yeah, the one in St. Thomas.
What?
Is, new logo, all fancy, tiled.
Living Moss to the fullest. That's all right. Cool. So, what's been going on? What's up?
Oh, not too much. Working. I think there's more going on with you. You got a couple additions to the family, don't you?
Yeah, I am a dad now, which is super exciting. Twin babies. What up? Yeah, Robert Marshall the fourth, and as Griffin likes to say, the fifth as well.
The fourth and the fifth.
No, just one is the fifth or the fourth. Sorry, and the other one has a separate name. I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna name them both after me. So it was the first one that came out has the same name.
I still think the other one will resent you for that.
No, he's
like
not.
they love the other one more.
No, it's not like that at all. But maybe, who knows? They're not old enough. Maybe one day they'll be like, "Fuck you, Dad. Why did you name? Why am I not the fourth?" But yeah, it's being a dad's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm only like a month in, but I mean, still, it's definitely a big change for sure. You know, I'm off work. I haven't really slowed down on beer consumption, just at different times, you know. But my sleep schedule is all over the place, so I mean, judge me, whatever. I'll have a beer at, a reasonable time in the afternoon or late morning, whatever. What have you been up to? You built a computer, right?
I did. I built a new computer for work.
Yeah, how's that?
Real exciting stuff.
Yeah?
I call it the Honey Badger because it's small but powerful.
Ooh, the Honey Badger. Honey Badger doesn't give a fuck. That's crazy. It's it's amazing that you know how to do that, but you're pretty tech savvy as far as
it's like I was talking to my mechanic buddy about it, and it's the same thing. Like he'll start talking about cars and like different parts that like are only compatible with certain parts. Exact same thing, just different space.
You're like a technology surgeon.
Yeah. Well, it's just all it takes is being interested enough to do the research and.
Now imagine one day, like, when we're cyborgs, right? Like Neuralink and stuff. You've heard about the Neuralink.
Oh, yeah.
But you think eventually we'll get to a point where, like, people are a part machine, obviously?
Think about it, man. Think about people with prosthetics.
Yeah, prosthetics.
Right?
Yeah.
Like cyborgs already walk among us.
Yeah, right? Have you heard of Boston Dynamics?
Yeah, they actually just got sold to another company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they used to be owned by Google.
What are they owned now by the U.S. government? The military owns them now.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think it was to a defense contractor.
Oh, for sure it was. For sure it was. If you have this crazy like cybernetic technology, like you don't like it doesn't matter what it is. They're like, oh, can we use this to kill people? Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Have you seen the footage of? It's not the Spot that Boston Dynamics makes, but a very similar robot.
Well, because the ones that they make are more like supposed to be like funny videos where it shows them like dancing and like hitting it with like a baseball bat or like a trash can or whatever, right? Why? So what's this video that you're talking about?
So the LAPD was beta testing essentially a like police.
It's like a dog, right? It's like a dog.
It's not militarized, although
but it's like it's on all fours though. I think I've seen that.
But it just looked real creepy because you got like all the SWAT guys all tacked out, and then this robot dog just comes marching up alongside him, and it does look hella dystopian.
Yeah, surrender, or we're gonna let the robot dog loose on you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like what they're like supposed to use it for is like say there's like some person like with a mental health issue or like acting crazy or they have a knife or something up in an apartment, they send up the robo dog. The technology is a little further out than people think. Like, just look at how much trouble Tesla's having actually realizing self-driving cars.
Well, now it's funny that you say that because we live in Ontario, and I believe it was the federal government. I don't think it's just Ontario. I think it's all of Canada that they're going to ban the selling of gasoline vehicles.
Yeah, that's the whole country.
The whole country. So that's what me and Delissa were talking about the other day. And I was like, she's like, oh, you won't be able to buy gasoline cars. I'm like, no, you won't be able to buy new gasoline cars. If you want to get a brand new car, you have to get an electric car. But if you look at, for Tesla, like obviously California is like a hot spot, and they have, highways and lanes of highways that are designated for those cars, for e vehicles, right? So, and then it's funny, like I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about, and they said, okay, well, like say that there's like a stone in the road or something, but the idea is that the first person that gets to that, the Tesla sends out a signal to all the other Teslas saying, hey, there's an obstruction in the road.
Yeah, and then they all get out of the way.
But the first person that hits the obstacle in the road or whatever it is, if it's a deer or whatever, yeah, sure, they could potentially die in the car accident, but the projected numbers are like 3,000 people a year. So I mean, if you do the math, would you rather have 3,000 people a year die or 40,000 people a year die?
This is the kind of the interesting thing. Like, do you know that? Ever heard of that like thought experiment where there's the train, and then there's like 5 babies on one track?
No. Tell me.
So it's like I'll probably
we're getting deep.
There's
deep.
There's like a thought experiment where it's like you're the conductor of a train, and you can't stop the train, and you're coming up to like a crossroads, and on one side there's like a baby, and on the other side there's an adult, and it's like, do you kill the baby or do you kill the adult? Right? It's like a moral question.
Well, I'm a dad now, so I'm gonna say the adult.
Yeah.
But I mean, I probably would before anyways.
And like that same like thought experiment, I've seen it like written in a lot of different ways, but the main idea is it's like if you have 2 options, right, and
the lesser of 2 evils,
and somebody will die, right?
Exactly.
So the point I'm trying to make is, at some point, if like a majority of the cars are autonomous and they're communicating with each other, there will be scenarios where like the computer, the AI, is going to have to determine who lives and who dies. Right?
Yeah, see, and that's it, right? And that's what would be with the robot soldiers too, right? It's because they have to identify between civilians and military threat.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Here, a plot twist: they all turn out to be Transformers. What happens if a Transformer transforms while you're in the car? You're dead, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're driving in Bumblebee, and then all of a sudden transforms, and you're smushed.
Well, it's like, imagine,
what if they don't have time to get you out?
Like, imagine there's like a pile up, right? And there's 2 Teslas driving that are both self-driving, and like there's only the opportunity for one of the cars to survive, and one of them will like be in an accident, or the people could potentially die. How is it going to determine which car gets the precedent? Will it be who's in it? Like. The person that paid for the premium Tesla package,
Yeah, see, that's interesting. That's interesting to think about, and I think that's why it's such a hot topic, because the technology isn't fully there yet. But we live in a day and age where if there's any part of that technology that's available, people want it, right?
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
This just popped in my head. So, a couple weeks ago, I read an article that somebody got arrested for having sex while auto driving his Tesla, like really? In the front seat, like not even in the drive.
You want to go for a ride, baby?
Yeah, like in the passenger seat, the dude's just like,
So what is the rule then, that you are supposed to be in the driver's seat?
Driver's seat. You're supposed.
But the thing is that people have naps. People are reading. It's like human reaction is only so quick. Like, what if you're sleeping?
Well, that's the thing. You're not like you're supposed to treat.
You're going to tell people that they can just sit in a car for 2 hours and get where they're going, and they're not going to take advantage of like having a little nap.
Of course.
So I mean,
but it has sensors, right? Like on the steering wheel and on the seat, so it knows if you're in the driver's seat and if you're hands are on the wheel, and it'll basically pull over and stop if it doesn't detect you're touching the wheel for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
The problem is people found ways around it by like shoving stress balls in the steering wheel, so it was like constantly exerting a small amount of pressure.
Or like putting a weight on the seat, right?
Like clipping it in the seatbelt. Like there's ways around it.
Oh, for sure. People are always going to find the loophole. I mean, if you can bang your girlfriend in the passenger seat going 100 miles an hour down I-75, you're going to do it. Like, people are going to do it, dude.
Yeah, it's a tough one because
they're autonomous. Like,
well, that's the thing.
The
like,
soldiers are crazy. Like,
yeah.
The autonomous soldiers are nuts. Like, they have to have that critical thinking to determine if something's a threat or not. Like, how can you program something
well, because that's the
to
thing.
make
like,
judgment like
like
that?
Soldiers already fuck up, like as it is.
Oh, for sure.
So like imagine, like just having a robot do it where they can't even be in, like they can't internalize the situation and really think about the implications. It's just like,
well,
I'm doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just following programming, right?
That's crazy, man. It's gonna get to a point where like the world is just nuts.
Well, and then like I don't know, it just seems weird because it would only be.
I mean, it's already nuts, but
because like it would only be the rich countries that have the autonomous killing robots, right? So it's
release the droids.
So realistically, those countries all have nukes, so they're never gonna fight each other.
If they don't make them talk like the droids from Star Wars, I'll be pissed.
Roger.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's crazy, man. But so yeah, okay, so only the rich countries, but those are the countries that want to go to war. Like America's gonna be like, who wants to fuck with America already? They're like, whatever, we'll fuck with you. Now we have an army of an autonomous killing robots.
So I was wrong. Boston Dynamics wasn't sold to a defense contractor. They were sold to Hyundai.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Why? Are they gonna make robot car? Transformers.
Well, so like actually a
Transform. That's how Transform. Yeah, they didn't come from an alien planet. They're here. They're
Like-
here. We're making them.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to compete with Toyota because Toyota has a whole like division that just focuses on robotics, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I can see them trying to compete. That's probably the idea.
That's crazy.
1.1 billion.
That's what they sold it for.
Yeah.
And how old is Boston? Like I mean, I don't know how long. How long has it been around?
I don't know exactly because they were a startup before Google bought them.
Okay, see, yeah, but then once Google bought them, obviously they pumped in like just crazy amount of money, and that allowed them to make what they made, and now they got sold to Hyundai.
Yeah.
Is Hyundai Japanese or Korean?
I'm not sure. I was gonna say Japanese, but I figured I was probably wrong, so I didn't want to say it.
Well, look it up.
Let's find out.
Look it up, Jamie.
You needed Jamie for your podcast, Bob.
I know. I can't. It's hard enough to get guests to come over here. I got 2 babies now. Like it's amazing we're able to do this right now. My dog's not barking. There's not babies screaming. It's instead of enjoying the peaceful tranquility of no animals or babies, it's we're doing Bobchat Baby.
It's a South Korean company.
South Korean. Okay, I thought it was Korean. Okay, well that's cool. Good for them. I wonder, what did you say, 1.1 billion?
1.1 bill.
Which is just a drop in the bucket for Google. So you got to think maybe...
Technically, it wasn't owned by Google. It was owned by Alphabet, which is like the parent company of Google.
Yeah, but do you think they're like, oh, we have too many stokes in the fire? Because like 1.1 billion is a drop in the bucket for Google. Or the parent company. Is it parent company? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the parent company. Yeah, so I don't know if maybe they're just like... had pushed it as far as they figured
they reached the pinnacle of what they thought they could do with it, and they said, okay, well, maybe maybe Hyundai has some bigger plans, better plans. Who knows? That's crazy though. 1.1 billion. Ugh. I don't even need that much.
What do you think of the billionaire space race?
Like the billionaire space race is crazy. It's like, doesn't it concern anyone else that the richest people in the world are the ones that are just trying to get out of here as quickly as possible? Or like Ark's situation where only the famous and the rich get to leave Earth. But who knows? I mean,
thing is,
the Earth is sustainable for life for like 250 more million years. Like it's not like we're going anywhere.
Think about it, right? Though, like, because if you're going to Mars, we're gonna have to like basically set up like these domes inside of the like volcanic vents. Like that's the only place that we can really like make a settlement.
Yeah.
So like it would kind of suck for like hundreds of years until they terraform the planet. You're just gonna be in a dome all the time.
And what are you gonna do? You're just gonna eat potatoes grown in your own shit, like Matt
pretty
Damon?
much. Like it doesn't really.
The Martian.
Like if it was like
Bleep,
you ever
bleep,
see
bloop,
that
bloop.
show The Expanse?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, a good show. But like they terraformed Mars and like turned it into like a proper like functioning planet.
Why? So like they terraformed it in the sense that like there's forests and streams.
You know what? They didn't actually get that far. Like they're in the process of terraforming. I don't want to do no spoilers. No spoilers.
I'm not gonna watch it, Griffin. I don't have time, dude.
What about your listeners, Bob?
Yeah, maybe they might want to know. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Don't ruin the show. What is this show on? What's it on?
It's on Amazon. But
okay.
My
of
point,
course, Jeff Bezos. Of course
yeah,
it is.
Exactly. It was based off a book though. But
okay.
Anyways, it's just like I don't think it would be. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get away from the planet and live like a great life on Mars, because like, what are they gonna do? Like,
well, exactly.
There's nothing there. Like they'll be like the pioneers, sure,
but it's gonna take like multiple generations after we establish
to make it
terraform society to make it even like remotely enjoyable to live there. Like, I mean, it's it doesn't have the amenities of Earth. Let's be honest.
Don't get me wrong. I think we should do it.
Once they can start growing weed there, I'll go.
Yeah.
Like, all I can eat is potatoes. And I can't get high. This sucks.
You got to be the pioneer to smuggle the seeds.
Yeah, but I don't know. Would it grow though? I guess
why not? They got a hydroponics lab, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know why they. Yeah, well, why do they only grow potatoes then?
Do they only? I don't think they only grow potatoes.
Is that just in movies? Like now, see if you can look that up. Do we know potentially that we have the capabilities in a controlled environment to grow other kinds of fruits and vegetables and whatever else?
I'm almost sure because I've seen experiments they did in zero gravity on the International Space Station where they grew
ISS
different kinds of plants.
Yeah.
So it would stand to reason that if they could get them to grow in 0G, that they would grow on Mars because there's at least some gravity, right?
I can't believe Chris Hadfield didn't grow weed. He's too busy just rocking that crazy mustache. I love it. It's a good mustache.
There is a rumor that like there is a husband and wife astronauts that went up to the ISS at some point.
Oh, really? From what country?
I think from America.
Yeah.
And the rumor is that they're like the ultimate Mile High Club members.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that.
I mean, bro, like if I was in space with my wife, like why not set a world record, right?
Yeah. Well, and do you think any astronauts have ever jerked off in space? Oh God, I should have got a tissue. It's everywhere. Zero gravity.
You know what? Like they must have provisions for that. Like because some of them are up there for like a year. You know?
Yeah. I mean, they're never gonna come back and be like, first guy to jerk off in space, guys.
That's what I never thought of that, but like.
Well, hey, people can have sex. People, human beings are human beings, man. They're gonna do what human beings do.
Like, because I know NASA has a whole team of engineers that their only purpose is to run the shitter, like the space toilet, right? Like a team of engineers.
What do you do for NASA?
But that just made me realize that there's like some kind of like space like splooge sock that some engineer had to develop for them. Like,
yeah, maybe
it must exist.
That comes in their space kit. Here's your space pocket pussy. Have fun up there. Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow, the ultimate Mile High Club, eh? Okay, but talking about these fucking billionaires, let's worry about Earth before then. What's stopping Jeff Bezos from being Santa? Okay? He has our addresses, Griffin. He has drones. He has a wish list and literally has an intimate knowledge of our habits. Okay? Like, he's specifically choosing not to be Santa.
I guess he kind of has elves, too.
Yeah, the Amazon workers.
Yeah.
Oh, if I got a job, wouldn't that be crazy if he just came out and was like, you know what, guys? I'm Santa now. I'm going to make this happen for everybody. He's got the money. Send everybody. We already pay for the service. Send everybody something off their wish list, Jeff. Make it happen. Add us, Jeff Bezos, if you have time. This obscure Canadian podcast that you've probably never heard of. But
that's the kind of thing that I feel like even if he was like a super altruistic guy, the board of directors would never go for it. You're like, yeah, we're just gonna give everybody just something off their list.
Yeah, well, he stepped down as a CEO, right? I saw a meme. It was like, Jeff Bezos is stepping down from CEO of Amazon to pursue a career as a Bond villain. Like, he'd be a good Bond villain.
It's funny too, because like he's totally bald. But have you ever seen the picture of Elon Musk before he got rich?
Yeah.
And then like I've seen a picture, like a progression, like as he got richer,
He got more
he
hair.
got more hair. I always thought that was hilarious.
Hey, money can buy you whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
When you're a billionaire,
It
you
can literally buy you a hairline.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and anything else, and apparently a one-way ticket off of this, off of Earth, if you wanted. Like, grow some space weed. I'm in.
I just find it really funny, like the posturing, like. Or Elon Musk didn't try and go up too. It was just Richard Branson that was.
Well, Richard, I think the difference is Richard, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are more committed to getting us to Mars. Like Richard Branson just wants to take all his rich friends.
It's like a pleasure cruise.
For a pleasure
Yeah.
cruise around Earth. Yeah, like he's like, fuck Mars. He's like, we can make a shitload of money. All we got to do is get them up to the atmosphere, fly them around a little bit, and then take them back down. Like, what it was like $250,000 or something for
Yeah.
a ticket.
Yeah.
Have they done that? They haven't done that yet, right?
I think this was like the first like quote unquote like commercial flight.
Yeah, so he did actually get people up there.
Yeah, it wasn't just him. There's other people there.
I
but
heard that. I heard Thomas Cruise.
Yeah, so they're bringing him to like the actual space station, I think.
Really?
Like, yeah, like to shoot a movie.
Oh God! Don't tell me that NASA's involved with the Scientologists.
I don't know.
Money talks, man. Money talks. Now, I mean, NASA needs as much money as they can. There's only so much government funding they're given. Like, but that's, I mean, everybody knows that though. That the space, like, progressively over the years, the space program, because like you only go to the moon so many times, and then it was like, okay, now we're gonna build the space station. You know,
But we only went to the moon once, didn't we?
Well, I mean,
that's the thing.
let's talk about America though. I mean,
Yeah.
Canada's one. Like, you know what I mean though. Like, as far as North America is concerned.
It always bothered me actually that they only went to the moon once, and like it's actually crazy to me that they're
Canadians went to the moon once?
No, the Americans, but like
They went to the moon more than once.
I don't think so.
There was like 5 Apollo missions.
Was there?
Hold on, let's look it up. Yeah, there was definitely they've like there's a difference between like landing on the moon
Because like I know they've landed like several like rovers and like different things, but people. There's the first time for sure.
Okay, how many times?
Well, depending on who you talk to.
The first thing that comes up in Google is how many times and the first one that came up, have we been to the moon? Okay, in all, 24 American astronauts made the trip from Earth to the moon between 1968 and 1972. 3 astronauts made the journey from Earth to the moon twice. Yeah, so dude, there was like a whole fuckload of Apollo missions.
That's a really short time frame too.
Well, but that's what I was saying. That's why I watched a documentary on like the Challenger and stuff, and that was the whole idea that NASA went to the moon like all these times, and then the public and the government was saying, okay, well, we'll just keep going to the moon. Why are we spending all these billions and billions of dollars to send people to the moon? For what reason? So then all of a sudden with the Challenger flights, it was like, okay, we're going to make, because the one that blew up had the first ever civilian on it, that teacher.
Yeah.
So that was when they said, okay, well, they don't want to fund just space missions anymore. We need to make it so that it's more of like a commercial thing, that it gives people, that's why people are excited about it, because they're like, oh, maybe I could go to space one day.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean.
Well, and then also like there a lot of really important technology's been invented.
Well, exactly.
From the like.
Not even just going to space, but the necessities required for
like
space.
Mylar and stuff.
Yes,
like,
exactly. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, oh, we need to make something that will allow us to, do whatever in space in zero gravity, and then, but it's got more of like, it's got more uses for us
I
here.
guess my point is that we should be talking about building a base on the moon that's really close to us,
dude. Space Force.
But you know what I mean. Before we jump to
Mars.
to Mars.
Well, because but the reason they jumped to Mars is because Mars is seen as more of a planet that we could live on, opposed to the moon. Like, why would you go live on the moon?
Literally, there's a couple of reasons. Like, and not necessarily live there, but just like to figure out the logistics of doing it. It would be a hell of a lot easier closer to home to get the materials and stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time though, that the moon, but you're talking about planets though, right? Like, they're totally different animals. Like, I mean, I'm not an astronomer or anything, or astrophysicist, so I can't say how much easier it is to make Mars habitable than it is the moon, but I'm assuming that there's differences.
The biggest differences would be the exposure to cosmic radiation, and that there's barely any gravity.
Yeah, so is there more gravity on Mars than there is the moon? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you think about it, I mean, Mars, there's traces of, like, I guess, they did find water on the moon, too. They found ice on the moon, right?
They did, yeah. So this is the interesting thing, because it takes like a shitload of fuel for a rocket to defeat the gravity on Earth, right? And that's part of the reason why it's so expensive.
Yes, yeah. To get once you get into the upper atmosphere. Yeah.
And so Tesla's new rocket system, where they can reuse the first stage, like where it can come up and come
tanks,
back down.
Yeah, the propulsion system. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that's like a big deal, bringing down like the cost of shipping stuff to space and all that. But I've seen an interesting idea where you would basically build a base on the moon as a staging ground to go to Mars, because
it's that much closer.
Well, and it's the fact that there's no gravity or barely any gravity, so you can launch the rockets for next to nothing in fuel off of the moon, and you can create the fuel on the moon from using the water to like make hydrogen, right?
Oh, so you're saying, okay, so we could spend the money to get, like, say, X amount of rockets to the moon, like, say 5, for example.
Set up
a base, and then it would ultimately be cheaper to launch 5 rockets to the moon and then relaunch them from the moon to Mars than it would be to have them go directly from Earth. Is that what you're saying?
I think that was the idea.
Okay,
I think that was the idea.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, get at us. Let us know what we need to know about gravity and things. That's crazy, though. See, I never heard about that, but that makes sense because it is ultimately closer, and yeah, I mean, if it's more sustainable and more cost effective.
Didn't Trump say that like they're gonna have boots on the moon by like 2024 or something?
Oh, dude, they like the Space Force is like a legitimate branch of the U.S. military. Yeah, but it's not just a Netflix show with Steve Carell.
Space Force though it's basically like the NSA but for space. Like it's not. Like everything the Space Force does, the Air Force used to do. Well, so it's not like they're like soldiers that go to fight in space. they're like desk jockeys that look up like satellite information and stuff.
Yeah, but I think eventually like because if you think about it too, like anybody that we would consider to be a potential threat from space is associated with the ISS. Like there's Russians there, there's Chinese there.
I think the big thing, like their major job, is like spy satellites and like monitoring other countries' spy satellites. And that
makes sense.
I wish that it was cooler, but it's not as cool as the name.
But it could eventually get there one day. Like have you watched the Space Force show?
I watched a bit of it.
It was pretty funny.
I wasn't a big fan of it. All the jokes fell flat. The funniest character was, I can't remember the guy's name, but
John Malkovich.
The dude that was in Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's like the research guy.
He was like scientist.
The scientist guy.
That dude kills me. He made the show for me. It wasn't for him, I wouldn't have kept watching it.
I thought it was. I enjoyed it. Like, and it's funny. I saw a thing the other day, and it's like it's like a BuzzFeed article or something. It was like, why Steve Carell's not even funny, and I was like, whatever. I've seen that about so many people, like Will Ferrell. It's like that's just people's opinion. It's like something's funny, something's not. Like some people they love Bobchat, some people they hate Bobchat. Whatever.
It's just
if you don't like Bobchat,
show.
Fuck you. If you don't chew Big Red, fuck you.
I think they were trying to be too political, and like I don't think it will hold up as a show.
Yeah, well, they only did one season, but I mean that's Netflix. So like, I honestly, dude, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I have so many crazy ideas for like shows and movies, and like, I've played around with the idea of like writing a screenplay for like a long time because like I come up with these crazy ideas.
I really like your idea for that reality show where it was like millennials versus boomers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
a great concept.
Well, it's just, and we better do it quick before all the boomers are dead. Just die already, boomer. I'm just kidding. I think there's like 1% of our listening audience is like 60 plus. Thanks for listening, the 1%ers. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's I think even Family Guy made a joke about it, or Rick and Morty did. Like how like Netflix will buy anything. They don't give a fuck. Oh, you know what? We'll buy it. We'll do it. We'll make it. Like my kids are gonna grow up in a crazy world, eh? Like by the time they're our age, like even like 30 years from now, like things are gonna be so different, man. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm just thinking like my grandparents were alive in World War II.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're still alive now. like just all of the stuff that's happened in that
And
time frame.
they've wintered in Mexico every year since like So for people that don't know, like we live in Canada, obviously. If you listen to Bobchat, you know that. And we get pretty bad winters. They live in Saskatchewan, which gets some pretty nasty winters because it's just flat everywhere. So the wind just blows like a motherfucker.
It's like it can go down to like minus 55.
Yeah, like tundra conditions. So Griffin's grandparents would just go to Mexico every year for winter. So they've never wintered, and they're like 90 years old. Like does winter
The
kill
sun
people?
and the ocean must be good for their health or something.
Yeah, all the tequila.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like does
I actually went to the town of Tequila in Mexico.
What?
And got tequila from the first distillery that ever made tequila.
That's amazing. How was it?
It's not even the same. You know, Suaze and like
Yeah, gross.
it's
cheap.
Even Patron.
Patron is like
it's
the only
not-
tequila I really like.
So it made Patron taste like Suaze.
What?
Yeah. Like
just that smooth.
It was so
eh?
smooth, and this is the crazy thing too, because like here, if you're gonna have a shot of tequila, it's a shot. Like you get it down, shove that lime in your mouth as fast as you can.
Yeah, because
right?
it's gross.
But down there, they have double high shot glasses, and they fill it up,
and they just sip it.
They sip it like a beer.
Yeah.
Like just. And like I never understood that until I tried it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
it doesn't taste like ass. Okay,
I know, like there's so many hand sanitizers now that like it's like you'll go to a store like I go to Games Workshop and pick up some stuff sometimes in between this lockdown bullshit, and like some stores have like the nicest smelling hand sanitizer. Like it smells like,
and some of them feel like your hand is just covered in ectoplasm.
Yeah.
and it won't go away.
and then some of them just smell like rotten tequila, and it's like ugh, gross. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Just taking care of these babies, and I've been watching a lot of Pawn Stars.
Yeah, I noticed when I came in.
Yeah,
He's got the queue going.
I got the queue going. I got the Pawn Stars up there. They get a lot of cool stuff. Delissa's like, do you just like this because they have trivia questions? I'm like, I get everyone right. I'm like, every time I'm like, give me a hard one, Pawn Stars.
Yeah, I kind of got my bubble popped with that when I found out that they don't even work at that pawn store and that it's all staged.
What?
It's staged in so much as that none of those guys work there, and that they only come in to shoot when the person brings something in for the show.
Well, yeah, because they're fucking rich, right? And like,
Yeah.
if you notice in the background, they obviously have people that run it day to day. It's open 24/7.
I liked being blissfully ignorant and pretending that they were actually working there.
Yeah, just go in there and hope, like, is Rick here? Be like, what do you got? Oh, okay, we're not calling him for that.
Then
Sorry.
I found out about Chumlee's sordid past, and
I kind of heard a little bit about this, so tell me.
yeah, like, so I looked up an article just to make sure I was saying the right thing, but like apparently at some point he got like a bunch of charges for like sexual assault, methamphetamine,
Yeah, I could
illegal
see that.
firearms, like all this shit. It might sound worse than it is.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, but like he got in a lot of shit, and like apparently there's this whole thing where people are like, "Oh, is he gonna get fired from Pawn Stars and all of this?" But
Well, he's
Rick-
like friends. He's like He's
Yeah,
known
yeah.
them their whole life.
He's like Rick's like adopted son, and like somebody asked Rick about it. Like they're like, yeah, like Chumlee, bad apple, right? Like you gonna keep employing him? He literally was like, I don't give a shit. Like I don't care.
Yeah, he's like he's probably seen him do worse stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But whatever. He's
But the meth though, that's surprising. I'm like Chumlee.
well, look how much weight he lost. It's easy to lose weight if you're smoking meth, Griffin. Everyone knows that.
Man, and he's like engaged to like a really fine like Instagram model girl too.
I saw that, and he bought her like fake tits.
Did he?
Yeah. There's like a thing.
That's love
There's
right
like a
there.
TMZ thing where it's like Chumlee bought his girlfriend fake tits. Like, is this what people care about? Is this the news now?
People should leave Chumlee alone. He's living his best life.
Yeah, I'm trying to live my best life.
Slinging meth,
But
shooting guns.
two idiots in the 90s had sex, and now I got to feed myself and work every day. Fucking bullshit. That's what my kids will be saying. Be like, we didn't ask to be born. No, I'm going to give them a good life. I'm excited, man.
Are you going to be a helicopter parent? Are you going to get him in all kinds of extracurricular classes, violin classes? All
Honestly, I'm just going to let them do whatever they want. It was funny, like last night, like Delissa was like, I hope their first words are mommy. And I was like holding one of the boys, and I was like, can you say firearm safety? Can you say firearm safety?
that? I bet you love that.
Yeah, she just looked at me like, shut up, Bob.
I think you can bring him in at 12.
Yeah, you can. They can get a junior. So yeah, they can get a junior license up under me when they're 12. And then Delissa's like, no, they're not allowed to shoot guns till they're 18. And I'm like, Delissa, they can get them when they're 12. She's like, they can't shoot guns when they're 12. So I like pull up the gun store website, and I was like, hold my phone up, and I'm like swiping. I'm like, youth rifle, youth rifle, youth rifle. They literally make them for children. They're meant to fit in the hands of children.
Safety's key, and
they're single shot 22s. They're fine, and you know me, I'm gonna teach them to be safe.
You're not. That's the thing too. It's not like you're giving the kid the rifle to keep and have like in their room just chilling or something. It's locked up with everything else, and you just bring. It's just so that they can actually hold it.
Yeah, here's a loaded handgun. Have fun. Like no, it's yeah. Like you know me, I got her on lockdown.
Yeah, I can definitely see people being like, just listen to these crazy people, but from the outside. But
yeah, it's crazy. But well, and the good thing about it though is I was getting pretty bummed that soon I'd have to stop canceling my plans due to the pandemic and just go back to my usual petty lies. Now I got kids. Sorry, I got kids.
The fun never ends.
Yeah, I'm busy for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like a massive supply of paper towel that you look like you're prepared.
The studio. So this room that we're in now was the weed room, and then it was the chill room, then it was the studio, and now it's the studio / Costco overflow. Griffin. I got 2 kids. I got twin babies. We're buying in bulk, bro. And hey, when you lived here, you used to always be mad that we never had enough paper towel. You're like, I don't know how you live without paper towel. You're fucking crazy.
We used toilet paper for everything for like a year.
Yeah, but you never said, hey, maybe we should buy paper towel. You were just going with the flow, which was fine.
When in Rome, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, now when in Rome, use toilet paper for everything. But yeah, no, we're an adults now, and honestly, I don't think I could ever go back. Like when we start running out of paper towel, I get upset. I'm like, we need fucking paper towel right now.
It's like every time we go to the grocery store, I tell my brother, it's like, yeah, we should get some more paper towel. Like we're always gonna need it, and he never agrees with me. And then we run out of paper towel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why do you want to run out? It's like when he wants to buy weed, he's like, oh, I'll maybe get a gram.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to want more.
It's because it's so that he can smoke my weed. That's the real reason.
He loves,
Yeah.
You're a good brother, Griffin, eh? You're always helping him out.
Yeah, if only he would reciprocate. Right?
Hey, are you listening, Spencer? Fuck you. I'm just kidding.
He's all right.
He's okay. He's a good guy. Oh, and also Jeff Bezos. He's worth over $200 billion now.
Even after his divorce?
Yeah. His net worth as of, I looked it up the other day, as of the beginning of 2021 is like $200.13 billion or something. It's over, like it's enough money, over $200 billion, that you and me could live the rest of our lives very comfortable, plus probably every single other person that we know. And he's not Iron Man or Batman yet. Like, this guy's just fucking lazy.
I feel like
he's not Iron Man. He's not Batman. He's not Santa. Like, this guy's lazy as fuck. Come on, what are you doing with your time, Jeff Bezos?
Like, that's got to be more than like the GDP of some countries.
Oh, 100%, man. Look at Greece. Like, it's definitely more than GDP. Is Greece still bankrupt?
I think they definitely still got something going
I guarantee that Jeff Bezos' annual income far surpasses the GDP of Greece. Hey, speaking of Greece, why don't they call olives Greece's pieces?
That's a good question.
Isn't that right? Somebody fucked up. God making the olive. I'm gonna make the most disgusting grape ever.
It would be amazing to see a billionaire just go balls to the wall philanthropy, like. You know, like just like pay for every kid's college tuition and the whole world, or do some insane gesture.
Yeah. Well, that's what I don't understand why. Like we were saying, like it concerns me that you said it, that every billionaire is like so focused on this endeavor, and I think it's because it's an accomplishment. Like for them to say, hey, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos were the first person to put us
Think about like
to
this,
put us
right?
on Mars. But why don't they do the philanthropy? They could do so much more here on planet Earth.
This is how I think about it, right? Because it's about legacy, right? And back-
Exactly.
But like a few hundred years ago, there was still like unexplored areas, and there was still like there was still new heights to be reached.
Yes.
And we've
hit the pinnacle.
We've hit the pinnacle.
We've hit
for
the
Earth.
pinnacle of exploration and of that legacy, and that's like an ultimate legacy. Like everybody remembers who founded this or who founded that, right?
Yeah.
It's like you went to Antarctica. You were the 10th guy. Nobody knows your fucking name.
So in like 200 years, when like Musk Prime is the capital of Mars, he's got his like eternal legacy.
Musk Prime. Yeah, they somehow can join forces. Like, why don't they team up? Like, I don't know. That's crazy, though.
Oh no, I was gonna say they're both single, but Elon's he's taken.
Yeah, he is taken.
That would be a power couple right there.
It's crazy though how we've advanced so much. Like, think of the Trojan horse. We went from building the wooden horse, now we're building spaceships. Like, that those guys in there were fucking laughing, like, inside of the Trojan horse, like, oh my God, Thapius, stop it, you're gonna get us in trouble.
Do you think, like, how technology has been like exponentially increasing, like year after year?
Yeah, and that's for sure. That's how we started this episode, talking about the automatonic dog and the robots and drones and shit. Are we at a pinnacle?
Well, and that's my thought is, will we ever plateau? Like, is there ever going to be a point where we just can't increase technology at the rate that we've been increasing it?
I think
that we like plateau.
And honestly, I've thought about that before, because you got to think. I don't believe that we're at the pinnacle of technology yet. Obviously, if you look at it, look at the technological advancements that we've made in even just the last 20 years. Even 15 years ago, if you wanted to listen to music, you had to have a separate device to listen to music. Now you have a smartphone. You can do everything on your phone. In the 1950s, a computer would be bigger than the size of this room. Now you have the computer in your pocket. But the problem is, though, now, Griffin, is that every person carries around a device with access to the totality of human knowledge, but people are all still wrong all the time. People, they're always
there's too much information, so it gets confusing. You don't
right.
even know what to believe.
So, and that's that's it, right? But it's got to get to a point where we do plateau as far as our technological advancements are concerned. But I don't think that we're close to that by a long shot. And
then who's to say that say regular computing hits its wall and we move to quantum computing, and we do that for a decade, and then that hits its wall, and then there'll be some new thing by then.
As far as technology is concerned, look how quickly things are outdated. It's like a snap of a finger.
Part of that's by design, though.
No, for sure. But okay, so we're not going to sell, gasoline operated vehicles anymore. Okay, so,
we got to make 1 billion electric cars now.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is also terrible for the environment to produce. And then
because what do they have to mine specifically?
Rare earth metals.
Rare earth metals, right?
You need a shitload of lithium and all these rare earth metals.
So but then there's the argument that it is bad for the earth, but in the long run is the amount of ecological footprint, the amount of carbon or
greenhouse gas.
The amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted from producing an electrical car, are they outweighed by the amount that you would say use driving a gasoline vehicle for 40 years of your life?
It really depends, right? Because the other thing is, first of all, the batteries don't last forever. So you're going to have to eventually make another battery, even if the car is okay.
And how do you recycle batteries?
You can recycle some of the stuff, I'm sure.
But I think I'm sure a lot of it would be spent.
Yeah.
Right? And then now you're back to mining. Let's be honest. If you want to drive a fucking car, you're hurting the planet. Sorry.
Yeah. The other thing too is
there's no way around it.
Yeah, the actual energy that you're using to charge the car, right? Where is that coming from? I've seen a lot of pictures and videos of like people that have Tesla, like rich people that have Teslas in like, you know, Arabic countries or in like South America and stuff where they don't have like the charging infrastructure.
Yeah.
And like they're being charged off of like diesel generators and stuff like that, and it just seems so silly to charge an electric car. But what I'm saying, even if you're getting your grid power at your house from like a coal plant or something,
Yeah. Oh,
it's, you know, you're still negatively impacting the environment. Like if we switch to like say like an all nuclear and renewable energy power grid, then I don't know the numbers, but I would have to imagine that would be better overall for the environment.
more sustainable than. Well, why would they go through all the trouble if it wasn't projected?
It could be a bait
if it
and
wasn't
switch, 'cause
projected.
this is an
it
interesting.
could be because they make more money, right?
So here's an interesting fact that nobody seems to know.
Okay, tell us, lay it on us.
So whenever you know people talk about the like greenhouse gas emissions and CO2 and all of that, the major focus is always on vehicles, right? And we make it seem like if you were just to read the media and everything, you make it seem like it's just cars and vehicles that are causing all of this pollution and the greenhouse gases.
But it's factories.
It's not even factories. If you look up the like percentage, like by industry of where the greenhouse gases are coming from, only 12% was, and again, these statistics could be wrong by now, but only 12% was from vehicles and stuff.
Really?
Over 40% was agriculture. And so here's the interesting thing.
Yeah, people got to eat though.
Well, which is true, right?
Yeah.
But that is way more of a contributor to greenhouse gas than cars and stuff are.
But it's easier for the governments and the people that are in charge to point blame towards people driving cars and saying, oh, well, you know, the farmers are the ones creating all, but we need them. You know, people don't need to drive gasoline cars, but people need to eat food.
But you could make an argument. We could all go vegan, you know, like there's
Oh
a
my
lot
God.
of, yeah, but like,
We don't live in California.
I think that what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that like we could
California.
do exactly what they're saying. Like say we got rid of every single gas vehicle on the planet tomorrow.
Yeah.
It would make a small dent, but it would just a drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of all of the emissions, right?
So do you think that us in Canada going, you know, potentially within the next 100 years to everyone, because I mean it's because you can get cars that are 50 years old. People drive cars that are 60 years old, right? Like, you know, and cars nowadays aren't made to last like those older cars are.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, but you're still gonna see, you know, gasoline vehicles being driven around for a long time before we get to a point that, okay, now it's all electrical.
It's just a phase.
Like we're gonna be 80 years old and we're gonna say, hey, remember when they banned gasoline, the selling of new gasoline vehicles? Like,
Daddy, what's a gasoline?
yeah, hey, remember when marijuana was illegal? You wake up, you're still a lizard sunning on a red rock. It was all a dream. The concept of electric vehicles and getting to Mars are starting to lose their meaning as you open and lick your own eyeballs to moisten them. Time to eat a bug. It was all a dream. But you know what I mean? Like,
I got a question for you.
yeah, lay it on me.
What's your plan for like introducing your kids to technology? When are you gonna give them internet? Are you gonna moderate their internet usage?
I know it's tough to say because like when we grew up, like we didn't have like immediate access to technology. Like
You had like your family tower computer that took like 20 minutes to turn on, and you know,
yeah, like it was very, very minimal, right? And you know, like I like riding my bike, I like doing shit outside, and now it's like you look at kids and like, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, because like people have told me they're like, you're gonna do the same, but they just hand their kids an iPad, you know, here, play Angry Birds or whatever, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it's because people are lazy, but I mean, I want to think that I will take more time to interact with them, and then instead of just saying, you know, here, just
but I'm saying
sit on the couch and be quiet and do this.
I'm saying they're like 13 and they're on you to get a internet device, and like do you give them social media, like what?
But you got to think too though that, you know, look at the advancements, like again, even with social media in the last 10 years, like, you know, when MSN, we all were on MSN, you know, it wasn't like, oh hey, I can pull up Facebook or Instagram on my phone.
We definitely wouldn't have been on MSN if our parents knew what we were doing on MSN.
Yeah, no, for sure. Are we gonna meet up in the woods and smoke weed and drink beer later? Yeah, see you there.
Can convincing girls to flash you and
Yeah, chat roulette.
Yeah.
Lot of dicks. But who knows though, Griffin? Because like I can't say where technology and where, you know, the accessibility, like it's already super accessible. Like who knows what it's going to be like? Like every generation's different.
that's a good point. Like you might do more harm than good by trying to like sequester them away from it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, I think, and that's what I've been told too. Because like you say to your kids, oh, you know, you can't have an iPad, you can't be on the iPad all day. But it's like, well, all their friends have iPads, and all their friends' parents let them use the iPads. You know, I mean, it's like I'm not going to deprive them of enjoyment, but I would much rather say, hey, like let's go do something. Let's not just sit here on the screen. Like, you know, let's go to the gun range. Let's go play catch or something. Like, I don't know. There's no way of predicting. Like, I mean, I think people are a victim of the times, right? We're all a victim of the times and what's accessible and what kids are gonna want. I mean, I'm a first time parent, so I don't know, but I know when I was a kid, something cool came out, something that, oh, the Game Boy came out. My buddy's got I was like, I want a Game Boy. You know, oh, first one of your friends gets a cell phone. You know, now you want a cell phone. And at that point, it wasn't. You couldn't even do shit on a cell phone except call people. But I was like, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. Like, oh my god. Okay, like, I remember walking up to my friends. I was like, yo, calling them, and be like, hey, what's up? Be like, guess where I'm calling you from? I'm outside on the street. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just crazy.
Think about the social media aspect though, because like for us, like we got on like maybe in
my
like grade 6.
My
or something.
6-month-year-olds have a joint Facebook
Well, and
account.
that's my point, right? Like they literally have an account from birth, right? Where it's like,
Yeah.
like for me, like I don't really use the social media besides like needing it to like function in society.
Yeah, but like my internet footprint didn't start till you're like 12 or 13 years
Yeah.
old. Right?
Like think about that. They can literally go on, like say when they're 30, type their name in, and this page will come up of them as babies for all time.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. Well, but I mean, okay, well, posting pictures of them on Facebook, even your own Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? There's pictures of my kids on the internet forever.
There's actually, I was reading about it, there's a trend of people that won't let their kids be photographed and put on social media at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
You know, I'm not sure exactly their reasoning, but
Well, all the pictures of Mia as a kid are sitting in shoe boxes in my grandmother's basement. So, oh, we got to go to the mall and get these pictures printed off. You know, I don't know, Griffin. I mean, like I said, people are a victim of the times. Like, and you know, I'm not going to deprive them of you know, stuff that other kids have, but I think it's one of those things that we don't know what things are going to be like in 10 years. I mean, if anything, technology is going to be more accessible and more prevalent in our lives than it is now. I mean, it's already, man. Like, remember when we first got the Google Homes around here? Like, I thought it was the best thing ever, and I still think it's cool. I'm like turning lights on and off with my voice. Like, what a time to be alive, dude.
it's true.
You know, so it's
all the other stuff that comes along with it, right? Like now you got a microphone, always on microphone in your house.
Well, I know, and it sucks because like we talk about the babies all the time, and like, oh, I got to go get more diapers, or I got to get more wipes, or whatever, and it's like every single ad on my phone is for like baby shit now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I got to just start Googling other cool shit I like, and hopefully the algorithm will work it in there at some point. Like, but who knows, man? I mean,
I'm
like,
sure you'll make the right call when the time
comes. But
yeah.
I mean, but within 10 years, like 10 years of technological prowess and advancement is too hard to. It's too hard to speculate as like being normal people. It's hard to speculate what's going to be available and what we're going to have, right? Like I'm sure there's scientists and developers and engineers that can say, yeah, oh, you know, this is what we're going to have in 10 years.
That's actually in 10 years. It's like when they'll be 10 years old, there won't be any more gas cars being sold.
Well before then, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I was talking about it the other day too. Like, I was talking to my dad about it actually, or grandpa about it, and I said it's, you know, it's like that meme where, you know, it's like the lady pushing the grandma, and she's like, oh, let's get you back to the home, grandma. It'll be like, I'll be telling my kids, be like, yeah, marijuana used to be illegal, and it'll be like, okay, Dad, sure it was.
It used to be so paranoid in the Tim Hortons trying to order donuts because I thought the lady in front of me knew I was high.
Yeah, and
trying to hide it.
Well, and then he made the argument that, oh, well, you know, like it's not going to be as intriguing to kids because it's like alcohol. But I mean, kids want to drink, kids want to get high. But it was
anything
it was
that they say you can't do.
They're gonna do it, yeah.
But
just because you have to be 19 doesn't mean you're gonna stop the kids from doing it.
It is an interesting thing because like I met a lot of European people, and they honestly have like a way healthier, on average, relationship with alcohol than we do.
Oh, dude, my buddy Leon, his family's from Germany. Like, they lived here for like 5 years because his dad had a contract for work, and then they went back. And he's like, yeah, dude, he's like they drink, like, even when they're like 12 and stuff, like they'll give them drink like wine or beer at dinner, and then they're like 14, they're all getting shit faced with their friends.
You can, like, so my German friends were telling me you can go to the club at like 16.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy.
But you can't buy hard liquor until you're 18.
Yeah, but whatever though. But I think the idea and thinking behind that is that, like you said, kids are gonna want, if you tell them they can't do something, they're gonna want to do it. So if you say, okay, well, if we introduce them to it at a younger age and say, yeah, you can do this, then they won't maybe abuse it as much as they would if it was illegal. And that's what me and my dad were talking about. Like, maybe they won't want to smoke weed as much because it's not like it's breaking the rules. There's not the excitement about it. It's like,
you're not sneaking out and like, meeting some guy behind the giant tiger, doing a quick deal, and then, meeting your friends at the park and, rolling up a shitty joint. You could just go in your backyard.
Well, I always roll good joints, Griffin, but yeah, you know that. But yeah, exactly, right?
I was speaking for myself, for sure.
But and he's like, my dad, like, he's like, well, why the people won't even be smoking weed in 10 years? They'll all just be eating edibles. And I'm like, man, I love smoking weed though, man. I way prefer to smoke weed than eat that. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind edibles, but I would rather sit down and smoke a joint any
I
day.
can see like vaping weed being like the preferred method in the future.
Well, it's, yeah, if they tell you, oh, well, it's better for you, and I mean, I guess technically it is, but anything you heat up...
No, technically about it. Like, it's...
Whatever, anything you heat up and put in your lungs is so bad for you, Griffin.
Actually, the vape, as far as I understand it, right, any smoke is bad for you because it's carcinogenic. You could dry out grass off the ground and smoke it, and it would be bad for you. But the way the vaping works is it heats up the weed just to a high enough temperature for only like the THC and some of the other cannabinoids to evaporate.
Yeah.
So you're not inhaling any carcinogens at all if you're doing it right. So there really shouldn't be any negative health effects at all from vaping it.
So you're not you won't die. It won't contribute to your death. Vaping.
This is the interesting thing too, because we know that weed is carcinogenic, like tobacco is.
Yeah.
But no one's ever gotten cancer from smoking weed. And I read an interesting
that's
study.
very true.
And their hypothesis was because there's actual cannabinoids that have anti-cancer properties, right?
Oh, really?
So what they were basically hypothesizing was that the anti-cancer properties of the weed were basically counteracting the carcinogenic effect. And that's why you don't see people getting cancer from smoking strictly weed.
Well, they should. Well, I mean, they would never do that, but they should like try to make like, I guess, quote unquote, healthy cigarettes. They could potentially do that. Maybe that's where technology puts us in 10 years.
I mean, that's what like
why not? Why
nicotine,
not?
like e-cigarettes are. But the thing with e-cigarettes is, it's definitely like, there's no doubt in my mind that it's better for you than smoking a cigarette.
But there's no long-term.
But there's
studies, like, it's like,
there sort of is, because like it's the same stuff, like the active ingredients that like make the vapor is the same stuff that's in like a fog machine, and that's been like FDA approved for like human inhalation, right? Because that's
forever.
Yeah, because they're like pumping that shit into like kids laser tag, right?
Yeah.
So and like there was a big hullabaloo about them being dangerous at one point because people were dying, but none of the articles mention that the vapes that were killing people were not even nicotine vapes. They were bootleg weed vapes that weren't filled with weed. They were filled with vitamin A liquid or some weird shit. And like that was killing people, but the way it was reported in the media was that they just said electric cigarettes, right? So there's a very clear push to push people away from them.
Well, sometimes I hit my dab pen like 7 times, forgetting that it's a dab pen, and then next thing you know, I'm just violently high in Walmart or Tim Hortons. Like, oh fuck, I forgot how high this gets you.
Well, that's like, I went to my buddy's house the other day for a fire, and he went out to the reserve to buy some weed, and there was a sale on Skittle edibles.
What?
And they're like 400 milligrams for the pack. And he gave it to me, and I'm usually pretty like, I take like just enough. But this guy, like, he always takes way too much and falls asleep while I'm still there.
Really?
He just keeps popping them like they are candy, but he pops them like candy and just passes out, right? So I said, okay, tonight I'm going like shot for shot with you. I'm eating all 400 milligrams of this.
Oh my god!
See what happens.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
It's a lot, and I did like. I straight up like don't remember going to sleep. Like I just woke up the next day.
Did you say
all
over
my
there?
clothes were still on? Like
yeah.
No, I made it home, but
hurry! I gotta go. Okay, you've got 45 minutes to get home. Hurry. I don't know, man. When I die, I hope it's early in the morning, so I don't have to go to work that day for no reason. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I'm lucky. I'm lucky he lived close to me, so I could walk home.
Yeah, that's good. It's crazy, man. Yeah, what a crazy world we live in. What a crazy world to bring babies into, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do our best and try to raise these kids.
You're gonna be a great dad.
I'm excited. Thank you, Griffin. I appreciate you saying that.
I guess you already are.
So me and Matt actually, yeah, right. I already am. Yeah. Hey, there it is. I got a lot of fur babies, not real babies. Actually, me and Matt were tossing around the idea of doing a dad podcast. Like, so it would still be Bobchat, but we would do like, say, the half an hour, 45-minute like Bobchat dad episodes. Because like he's got like a 14-year-old kid, and I have like newborn babies, right? So like it's kind of both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then our friend Will, he was here earlier too. We were talking to him, and I was talking to him yesterday actually about it. And I said, well, he's kind of got kids in the middle of that split. So it'd be like, hey, brand new dad, dad for 10 years, dad for 15 years, whatever. And it's kind of all ends of the spectrum and perspectives. So I thought it'd be kind of cool. And obviously it's Bobchat, so we make it fun. And yeah, it'd be a good time.
I can come and just tell dad jokes.
Yeah. Give me one right now.
Oh, don't. Okay. Okay, this is a classic from my own father.
Okay, yeah.
Jerry. This is the dad joke that made me understand what a dad joke was.
Well, I'm a dad
kid.
now, so I love it.
So I was sitting on the beach in Mexico, and my dad looked at me, and he's just like, hey, Griff, I'm on a seafood diet. I seafood. I eat it.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was funny at all, and that was the first time it sunk in on me what made a dad joke.
Yeah, it's got to be terribly funny.
Yeah, it's got to be so not funny that you laugh anyway.
Yeah, I used to drop dad jokes on Bobchat all the time. It was, oh, what a dad joke! I love dad jokes. I saw a funny meme. It was like two wrestlers, and it was like a skinny one laying on the mat, and then like this really big fat wrestler jumping from the top rope, and the skinny guy laying on the mat said, my ungrateful family, and then the big fat guy said, me and all my dad jokes. Like landing on the ungrateful family. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to get a pair of New Balance. And actually Streaming's like, if you want to come over, if you get your New Balance, come on over, you can cut the grass and green those babies up if you want.
You gotta start wearing socks and sandals.
Actually, Streaming came over the other day, and he had a brand new pair of shoes on because he was wearing those white New Balance.
He's a dad too.
Yeah, and he was wearing those white New Balance dad shoes for like 3 years, and those things are just mangled at this point. So he comes over and he's got these new sneakers on. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, those aren't New Balance. What happened? He's like, dude, you know how fucking expensive those things are now? They're like $170. It's like everybody's getting knocked up because of COVID, and now it's cool to be a dad. So everyone's running out and buying all these dad shoes. Like, leave some for the rest of us. I swear to God, New Balance was like, people are going crazy for these on the internet, and there's going to be a whole bunch of new dads everywhere. We're making a killing.
So like I've worn New Balance shoes for like a decade already.
Yeah.
Because I have flat feet, and the only shoes that have like a metal bar in them for stability are New Balances. So I've taken a lot of shit for wearing New Balances as a teenager, and everyone else had Jordans and like Nikes and shit. But like I gotta wear them.
Yeah, New Balance. Yeah, I've never had a problem with New Balance. Like
I was scared I wouldn't be able to get them for a bit because the CEO or I think even the company of New Balance like endorsed Trump, and so there's this movement to like cancel New Balance. So I was a little concerned I might not be able to get my shoes.
Yeah.
That seems so blown over though.
I can't get New Balance. Yeah, because you can only buy New Balance.
Pretty much.
Because you have Matt. So if we talked about how we've talked about how you have to take a shoe off when you drive.
Yeah.
Oh, Griffin. Oh, Griffin.
One time when I had the Tempo.
Ford, 1994 Ford Tempo?
93.
That makes it so much better.
I had what happened? My windshield wiper shot off of my car in the middle of the road, and it was like winter, and it was like slushy and rainy. And I like did a U-turn, put my blinkers on, parked on the side of the road, and then hopped out on one foot to recover my windshield wiper. Hopped back to my car, attached it, and got back in. I must have looked so ridiculous to everybody.
Should have wintered in Mexico, Griffin. Oh man, yeah, no, that's that fucking car. And then Griffin moved to New Zealand, and he left it parked at the variety store down the street from my house. And it was there for like a week, and then they put a notice on it saying like that it wasn't gone, and like by the end of the weekend they were gonna tow it and whatever, and he was trying to sell it. So I lined up our buddy to sell it, but he wasn't gonna be able to pick it up with the trailer for like another week. So it was like we ended up having to push the Ford. Well, we pushed it
because it was out front, and then it was the day before you weren't allowed to park on the street anymore.
It was the day before. Yeah, you can't park in the street after Labor Day. So we pushed it to the variety store, and then we realized, oh, okay, they wanted to move. Then I had to push it back. It was like me and Delissa.
I didn't know you had to push it back.
Well, because I told you if we left it at the store, they were going to tow it, right? And I wanted you to get your money for it, so we ended up having to push it back in front of the house, and like I tried to get it up the laneway into a parking spot, and just was not happening.
Did I get money for it? I thought I just gave it away.
Maybe you did just give it away. I don't know.
I was just wanted to be rid of it.
I don't know, but like I don't know. It was I don't know.
But
whatever.
Here, tell him the crazy part.
Oh yeah, okay. So our friend Joel, Tech Guy, aka Tech Guy, like they do racing. And
shout out
to Tech Guy. They do racing. So his buddy that races cars and stuff, he ended up taking it. And I guess it sat there. It sat out in his bar drive shed for like 2 years, hasn't been touched, and it was basically wasn't running when Griffin gave it to him. Like the brake line was fucked. Like it wouldn't even turn over. I don't think. But I think what did he do to it? He did one little.
He said he replaced one wire.
He replaced one wire, and it fired up like it was fucking brand new.
Still only got 3 brakes, but still.
Yeah, he'll probably just derby it, but yeah, it just sat there forever, and it was good. I mean, say
Can't
what
thing.
you will about Fords. Like I think a lot of newer Fords are not so great, but you know some are made to last.
That thing was literally no joke, held together with duct tape and zip ties.
Well, hey, listen, I fuck buying a new electrical vehicle. Give me a '94 Tempo. Let's do this. Let's make it happen.
My brother really, really wants one of those F-150 Lightnings.
Oh, isn't that's like with it's got like a crazy engine in it, right? Like it's
the electric F-150.
The new ones. Yeah. Well, don't worry. That's all he'll be able to buy soon. Well, you can buy older models, but yeah, man, that's.
Do you think other countries, like there'll be some countries that just say fuck it and just continue to produce gas vehicles forever?
I don't know. Hey, listen, one day Canada will take over the world, then you'll all be sorry.
Have you heard of Kanzuk?
No, what is that?
So there's this movement to form a basically like a third world superpower to like challenge China and America, called Kanzuk, and it would be like Canada, Australia, UK, and New Zealand would form like. We would still technically be like individual countries, but we would have one unified foreign policy. So we would essentially be like the third superpower of the world.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Part of me is like kind of intrigued by it, but then we sort of are giving up our independence then.
Well, yeah, because then you have to.
I think if shit got like super real and like we just couldn't trust America anymore and China was just wiling out, that might be our only option. But I don't think we're there yet.
Well, maybe one day. Yeah, who knows, man? It's gonna be a crazy world that my kids grow up in. But well, Daddy-O here and Uncle Griffin's gonna be around. I'm sure we'll make sure they're all right. So yeah. Anyways,
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to tell them apart because I
They
stared
are
at,
identical.
I stared at both of them for 5 minutes just trying to find any difference. Like even just like maybe one of their hair was growing in a little quicker or something. But
Yeah,
no,
they're pretty identical.
because you're telling mostly by like their personalities, right?
Well, kind of, yeah. There's very but you got to remember, I see them every day, right? So I notice things that an untrained eye that just comes over is not going to notice. But I mean, I think we're doing pretty good at keeping them apart. And yeah, it's a lot of personality, and they have different mannerisms, obviously. And as they get older, it's going to be easier to distinguish them apart, obviously. But for now, I think we're doing a pretty good job.
It's fun. Like my brother and I are 2.5 years apart, and we still get constantly asked if we're twins. So
Yeah, I could see that, though. I could see that. You're better looking, Griffin. Don't worry.
obviously.
Well, thanks for coming over. Thanks for doing this. I
Thanks
appreciate
for having me. We got to keep Bobchat alive.
Hell yeah. Maybe we'll do another one. That was a really good talk today. I'm glad we had this chance to do a chat. It was nice to take a little break from dad duty.
Yeah.
We better go check on Delissa, make sure she's not going crazy down there. And yeah, it's like I said, one day Canada's going to take over the world. And then you'll all be sorry. See you next time, guys. Thanks.
Adios.
I want my podcast and my lady, simple life, but not too crazy. I'm slim, but I ain't shady. Fuck you if you hate me. I'm rocking the mic, cause it's Bobchat, baby.